Inside Racing is brought to you by Dunlop.
With his Super 8 camera, Gerhard Mitter kept a detailed record of everything. The gifted racing driver, mechanic and DKW dealer from Böblingen in Germany is a man we've featured on Inside Racing before. The two-stroke cars from Ingolstadt were ideal for racing purposes and affordable as well. A great basis therefore for Mitter's own designs.
Durch den DKW-Vertrag dann später, sprich Händlervertrag.
Through the DKW contract, later a dealer contract, he developed a Formula Junior car based on the DKW, and he was very successful with it right from the outset. We had a racing division in Böblingen, which was actually just specifically there to build racing engines and maintain racing cars. In fact, during his active DKW days, he sold 140 tuned-up engines all around the world.
Verkauft, getunte Motoren verkauft in alle Welt.
The Mitter DKW was very competitive. With up to 80 horsepower, the car had no trouble holding its own in the Formula Junior field.
While the others experimented with four-stroke, four-cylinder engines from Cosworth and Abarth, Miller kept unflinching faith in the two-stroke concept. Fewer moving parts, no valves and high revs. Later, he and his mechanics fitted the engines into the Lotus 18 chassis.
Die Fahrzeuge wurden in der Rennabteilung vorbereitet.
The vehicles were prepared in the racing division. The car then went onto the trailer and they drove to Malmsheim, to the former airfield, where the car was then tested. A racing car building adventure. From the Mitter men, it was clear a three-cylinder two-stroke engine had real potential. A two-stroke engine has a fundamentally smaller build and is thus lighter, and as I said, the tuning facilities were there. You could build the engine very quickly using simple means. For Formula 2, in 1964 came Mitter's coup de main. He built a four-cylinder two-stroke engine with up to 130 horsepower, over 10 horsepower more than the others. Here it is.
Von der Baugröße kleiner wie ein rein Vierzylindermotor.
Size-wise, it's smaller than an inline four-cylinder engine. It's all more compact. The weight is more compact, which of course is important for a racing car. The engine's got four cylinders, as I said, and dual ignition due to the large individual capacities of 250 cc per cylinder. It's got four individual crankshafts. It's controlled by rotary valve and naturally water-cooled. It was extremely sensitive to the weather. A two-stroke engine needs a lot of oxygen to really work, so when it was cold and damp, its chances were always good. Its stability, too, was not always marvelous. The engine was powering this Lotus. Sadly, however, it was never used in a real race, as the costs simply became too high. From 1964, Porsche made use of Mitter's technical expertise. He and the company's engineers worked together fruitfully. Porsche had already become aware of Mitter a few years earlier. He was overall winner on the Geisberg in a Formula Junior car, beating the RSK Works Porsche. And so Huschke von Hanstein evidently got out his little black book and made a note of his name. That happened again several times as he repeatedly got the hill climb record with supposedly weaker vehicles against the Works cars. And that's probably how it happened.
So kam's wohl.
Mitter, the hill race expert. From 1966 to 68, he won successive European hill climb championships with Porsche. Here in the famous Kangaroo, a Spider based on a Porsche 904. There's also Mitter know-how in this 908 Stroke 2. What his boss Huschke von Hanstein had done before him in the 550 Spider in 1956, Gerhard Mitter also achieved in 1969. He won the legendary Targa Florio in this red and white Spider. Mitter was on the up. In principle, everything was clear. In 1970, he'd have had his own Formula One team using Ford Cosworth engines. He already signed contracts with Ford, so all that was done. It's not completely clear what chassis it would have been, but probably a Brabham. He had sponsors. He had it all lined up. But it never came to be. On the 1st of August 1969, Gerhard Mitter had a fatal accident in Formula 2 practice. Former contemporaries are certain that he would have become a major force in Formula 1.
Inside Racing was brought to you by Dunlop.